coming up in the morning edition. The Click to Clear Customs initiative is ready to go. The Minister of Education tells Rotary about school upgrades. And musician Fred Ferguson pays tribute to the legend, Ronnie Butler. "18 days closer to transformation." Welcome to the morning edition. I'm Jiminita Swain. Happy Thursday, everyone. The Bank of the Bahamas weather report is up next with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, Jiminita. In our first look at weather, the ZNS Tower Camp showing some dark and threatening clouds over the capital this morning, and embedded in those clouds are some lightning and thunderstorms activity, and it is highly recommended that you remain indoors during thunderstorm activities. Outside of our studios, as we go to our satellite picture, you can see we have thunderstorm outside of our studios. The temperature at 81 degrees, relative humidity 88%. The winds are near calm out of the north at 1 mile per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.7 millibars. That translates to 30.02 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning: 82s in Marsh, Abaco, Green Torquay, and Freeport. The Berry Islands 83. Isle Sound, Bimini 81 degrees, 84 in Harbour Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera 82 degrees in Outer Sound, Cat Island 83. 81 in Stanley Key, Kemp Space, St. Andrews 81 as well. Fresh Creek, Central Andrews at 82 degrees. And as we take you a little, we got a little mixed up there with our graphics, but we'll get that sorted out for you. Out of town at 83 degrees, and Rumkey, 83. San Salvador 83 degrees as well. Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklands, Matthew, Niagara, and the Turks and Caicos Islands all at 83 degrees. And your boating forecast for today: south to southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots in the northwest Bahamas. That means the wave height is going to be around 2 to 4 feet. High tide 7:31 this morning, low tide at 1:36 in the afternoon. For the central Bahamas today, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. In the southeast Bahamas, the winds are a little stronger out of the east-southeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So caution flags are up for boaters in the southeast Bahamas. That's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Well, thanks, Basil. Now time for the Bahamas First Traffic Report with Kelsey Johnson and the Morning Edition traffic team.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Okay, stay right there. Constable Patrick Camp. No. Good morning, Bahamas. We're here on Carmichael Road and not too far from the Faith Avenue juncture. Now, I'm standing on one of 3 service roads here in the capital. If you're wondering, it's right between Carmichael and Faith Avenue. Now, this particular road, a lot of speed is by our motorists is taking on this road, and where the traffic officials are telling motorists to adhere to the speed limits on this road. Now, joining me live this morning is Constable Patrick Kemp, who will talk about, like a lot of persons who always speed on this road, just talk about the safety about on this road.
Good morning, Ms. Johnson. Good morning, Bahamas. As usual, we ask persons to drive with due care and attention on any road that you're driving on in the streets of New Providence and throughout the Bahamas. The service road is no different from the main road. We ask that persons pay attention and give way to persons entering onto this road.
Now, coming off of this road, trying to enter onto Faith Avenue, especially when the traffic lights are down, how am I supposed to operate?
Again, Miss Johnson, with due care and attention. We find that a lot of persons, they're not taking their time, and the road rage is ridiculous, and how persons respond to one another. And again, we just ask that you just take your time and drive with, again, due care and attention.
All right, thank you so much, Constable Camp. Jiminito, I can tell you that traffic is flowing smoothly on Faith Avenue and Carmichael Road, so you can use both corridors to get to your work. Back to you in the studio, Jiminito.
Well, thanks, Kelsey. Now to the top story this morning. The nation's leader, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, assuring Bahamians and residents that the government is committed to doing whatever it can to alleviate ongoing load shedding, by Bahamas Power and Light. In a statement issued from the office of the Prime Minister Wednesday night, the Prime Minister said Cabinet met with executives and board members of BPL to discuss the unacceptable state of power generation in New Providence. He indicated that he is deeply unhappy that families are suffering, and he understands that Bahamians and residents want clear and immediate action, noting that a 6-man team from Philadelphia Gear is here in New Providence and has started working with the intention of returning an additional 20 megawatts of power to the Blue Hills power plant. Well, September 30th is the date to jot in your calendars, as officials in the Department of Customs have opened early registration for its new Click to Clear initiative. It's a part of the Customs Modernization Initiative. The agency is transforming how Bahamians and brokers do business when it comes to the shipment of goods into the country. The new feature is designed for anyone who imports and takes less than 5 minutes to register, with approval by the department in less than 24 hours.
Once Click to Clear is fully implemented, all importers will be operating by the same rules and regulations. This is possible because most processes will be digitized and automated. That means they won't vary from customs officer to customs officer or from port to port. Online payments will be accepted 24/7, meaning any time of the day or night on this new system. We will have tighter controls and risk management to reduce opportunities for corruption and fraud, including the ability to transition to a cashless environment.
Well, the Minister of Education, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, speaking to school upgrades and digitization at the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau's monthly meeting Wednesday afternoon. Lloyd said that schools will be ready to open come September 2nd and gave an update on how far the ministry is in its digitization project.
We got a $20 million project underway, and we want the system to be digitized 100% within 12 to 18 months. We are 40% on the way. We are going to start with e-learning or distance learning this coming September. 40 of the schools are already wired up and so on. But those islands like Crooked Island, Auckland, and so on, where we cannot put a math and a physics and a biology and a chemistry and sometimes a Spanish and so on teacher, we're going to connect them up digitally. That means that the youngster is going to have a tablet in his hand, and he's going to have to manage his way through the lesson plan, because the teacher is in Anatole Rogers or Doris Johnson.
Well, from the courts, 37-year-old Dominican national Sobeda Garcia Reyes, also known as Sobeda Scribbins, arraigned on trafficking in persons charges in the magistrate's court Wednesday. The Dominican is accused of conspiracy to engage in trafficking in persons, and unlawful withholding of identification papers. Now, court papers show that between December of last year and January 31st of this year, Reyes harbored a foreign woman for the purpose of exploitation. She's also accused of withholding the passport of the foreign woman. Reyes pleaded not guilty to all charges before Chief Magistrate Joy Ann Ferguson Pratt and elected to have the matter tried in the magistrate's court. She returns to court next week for a status hearing. Attorney Rizard Humes represents Reyes. Well, more than a week ago, finance officials announced plans to move all government bonds to the Bahamas International Securities Exchange, or BISIC. It's a move that BISIC's Chief Operating Officer Keith Davies says took some time to complete, but he explains to ZNS News what this means to everyday Bahamians and those looking to invest in the exchange.
Over 200 different tranches of debt are going to come onto the exchange at a value of over $3.5 billion. Now, what does that mean for the average Bahamian? These bonds are in existence and they were available. However, you're now going to have a central location where you have real-time data, where you now know the depth of the market, which means that you know what's available and you will know what the prices are for those particular securities. So whereas before it was difficult to find this information and you didn't know who wanted to buy or sell, we're now going to have a market which is central where you can do all of that, and it makes things easier and more accessible at a basic level.
In other news, the youth arm of the Free National Movement, the Torchbearers Youth Association, is gearing up to host its two-night convention at the Melia All-Inclusive Resort under the theme of Future Secured, #Access Granted. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will be the keynote speaker on Friday night.
while the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Lanisha Roll, Minister of Tourism and Aviation, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, and the MP for Pinewood, His Excellency Ruben Ramming, and the MP for Bain and Grantstown, Travis Robinson, will address the convention over the course of 2 nights from Thursday to Friday. Well, Torchbearers President Carl Bethel says a number of youth will also address the convention that begins 7 p.m. each night, adding that the Torchbearers was the first political youth organization formed in 1972, just 1 year after the FNM. Bethel says the FNM has consistently shown that young people are key to its foundation, and the convention is intended to allow the Free National Movement youth to give voice to progress government has been making in areas that concern them.
The vision and the purpose and the goals of the convention really is to give young people a platform, to give young people the microphone, to take the stage and to express openly and freely how they feel the government is doing. It's also an opportunity for the party to speak to the facts in regards to what the government is doing for young people, specifically in the areas of education, entrepreneurship, and employment. We find that young people care about those 3 E's in regards to the development of their future, and so we hope to put out the facts for the Bahamian public to see what the government is doing for them.
Well, Ronnie Butler, had he still been alive, would be celebrating his 82nd birthday. Butler will never be forgotten, well, at least not by musician Fred Ferguson. Let's see what's in store for Butler's birthday when we return. Stay close.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills with their debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow, finally! A bank that's looking out for me. What do you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
Miss Fidelity, you ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. When a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours, you should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television or radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and keep children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and a car tank full of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds up to 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor in your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Access granted.
Tune into the Torchbearers Youth Convention Thursday and Friday, August 15th and 16th, live at 8 p.m. on the ZNS Television and Radio Network.
Well, I watch the morning edition for sports, entertainment, news. It's the perfect time, the perfect opportunity. Great.
Welcome back. Burma Road is an infamous rake and scrape song, one which is enjoyed by all Bahamians. Now, the song was penned by the godfather of Bahamian music, Ronnie Butler, some 77 years ago. In this report, our Kelsey Johnson sat down with musician Fred Ferguson, who told her this Saturday the song will hit the airwaves once again like never before.
Who put the pepper in the Vaseline? Age ain't nothing but a number. Looking pretty and smiling? If these songs don't make you tap your feet or make you want to get up and do the heel and toe, then maybe Burma Road will. The historic song refers to the 1942 riots in Nassau and is said to put the late Ronnie Butler on the right track, so to speak. This Saturday, the beats and lyrics of this song will blast the airwaves at 10:10 a.m. in honor of Butler.
The music of Ronnie Butler. Well, let's take Burma Road, for example. It's the history. It tells the history of the Bahamas. You listen to the dialogue that he's having, and on the end, he's talking about everything that happens, in the past. His name is slowly fading away. You don't hear much about Ronnie anymore. Every now and then, you'll see a band maybe sing one of his songs or something, and we do that very well in the Bahamas. We forget our legends. And again, this album is a tribute to Ronnie, even though the lyrics don't sing to Ronnie specifically, but the songs, you can see that they connect to him. And all of the radio stations have agreed that they will play Burma Road at 10:10, and right on the heels of that, the first single from the tribute CD will be released.
Butler, who is known as the godfather of Bahamian music, mainly rake and scrape, was born on August 17, 1937. He passed away on November 19, 2017 at the age of 80.
Just before he passed, everyone was asking me how I could connect them with him, because they wanted to sing with him, wanted to meet him. But Ronnie had established himself as a #1 entertainer. He was called the godfather of Bahamian music. Ronnie's Rebel Room is historic, and his name, as I say to other musicians, he's like the Ray Charles of the Bahamas. He's crossed all the generations. So it's important that we don't let that history fade. Musicians play an important part in the development of this Bahamas. We cannot allow that to go away.
Fred Ferguson, a lead guitarist who has worked along with Butler, is spearheading Saturday's Burma Road Blast. Ferguson, who has expressed his love for the king of Bahamian music, Butler, reveals how much he missed his mentor. In fact, the next song you will hear on Saturday after Burma Road will be from the album Ferguson collaborates on with a number of Bahamian musicians, including Butler's son.
As a part of the tribute CD, Ronnie Butler gave me the master track to his Burma Road album. So I am able to do like what Nat Lee Cole did with Nat King Cole and separate vocals. So I have a duet with him and D-Mac singing Native Woman, which is redoing that. It's going to be a duet with Ronnie Jr. and Ronnie Butler doing a remake of Echoes of My Mind, along with a new song. So I am very fortunate, I should say, to be able to have access to that. So having the ability to work with him with the songs that I have written, and still now hearing him sing almost live with me in studio with the tracks that I have, my life is almost perfect.
Ronnie Butler received the Queen's New Year's honors for the year 2003 and is a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire Civil Division. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we look forward to finding out how that's going to going down Burma Road, what's going to be going down with sports, Jonathan?
I can tell you what went down yesterday. Our men's national basketball team on court for the first time in the Summer of Thunder. We'll take a look at the highlights.
Well, that should be interesting. Sports is up next.
Listen, you should hear them when they ordering these big time drink talking, but zombie and slow.
ZNS Total Sports, bringing you excitement, entertainment, energy, pure sports.
We're keeping you updated on all the sports happening in the Northern Bahamas, whether it's soccer
or even the latest results with American football or flag football.
Covering baseball, softball, you name it, we'll cover it.
Everybody, I on TV. Look, I on TV. Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Part-time, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS.
Quick, I'm on television. I don't have a TV in here.
We have Wi-Fi though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone.
You just have to download the app. All right, hold on. Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up before it's over again.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music, Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Present check? Miss, I just starting now. I still gotta pay?
What you cooking? Something good.
Welcome to another episode of What You Cooking.
So today we have a braised rosemary lamb with an avocado salad and a roasted garlic mashed potato.
Plants naturally produce compounds that are very healthy for us.
What you cooking? Something good.
Access granted.
Tune into the Torchbearers Youth Convention Thursday and Friday, August 15th and 16th, live at 8 p.m. on the ZNS Television and Radio Network.
You got to make the best of what you have in front of you. And that's some of our problems. We don't know how to make the best of what we've got. You keep on looking out the window and seeing something better. And you think if you get that, that's what's going to make your, oh Lord, this is what's going to make your life better. But I need to tell you, you need to make the best of who you are.
Join us this and every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. for Faith Touch on ZNS TV 13.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Our men's senior national team getting their first taste of action yesterday in the Bahamas Basketball Federation's Summer of Thunder Series. They were in good form against a Texas Tech team which appeared in the Final Four earlier in the year. Team Bahamas getting off to a winning start, putting away the Red Raiders 63-57. Jerron Cornish leading the way in the win with 20 points. Dashton Baker right behind with 19.
It was incredible. We only had 2 practices. Coming out here, these guys haven't played together enough. And they kept their foot on the gas. They kept going and going. They picked each other up. When they made their runs, we answered.
We came down here to improve and to play our team, not necessarily looking for results. We're looking for kind of the process. So first of all, very appreciative of the Bahamian national team. We appreciate those pros coming together and helping us out tonight by playing this game. I thought their players and coaches did great. So we've got a young team. We're a work in progress. We got 7 freshmen that got minutes in tonight's game. So it's a positives. Obviously on the scoreboard, that's not the result we wanted, but give Bahamas a lot of credit.
The Georgetown Hoyas also on the floor last night against MPBA Select. This game wasn't as close. It was all Georgetown as the Hoyas roll in blowout fashion, 112-67. Georgetown now 2-0, but it gets much tougher this afternoon as they close out with Team Bahamas. That game tips at 5 over at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. The Memphis Tigers also in town for the Summer of Thunder. The Tigers playing their games at the Bahamas Convention Center. They would claw to victory in their opener, using a big second half to put away the Commonwealth Bank Giants 114-83. In the loss, Deshaun Taylor continued his stellar play, a game-high 30 points. Livingston Munnings a double-double, 18 points and 14 rebounds. Jackson Jacob also in double figures with 14 points. Memphis back out this afternoon at 5 against MPBA Select. Now, while this is mainly a business trip for Memphis as they get ready for the upcoming season, the Tigers also taking time out to give back tomorrow morning between the hours of 8 and 9:30. Memphis will conduct a kids clinic at the park in Bosine Town.
Well, these colleges going in the inner city in some of these areas is to bring exposure. Once again, the word that the Bahamas Basketball Federation is focusing on is exposure. We want to give our Bahamian student athletes at the younger age that exposure of seeing what it is to take them to get to that next level and meet these guys who are playing at the level that they only see on TV. Some of these kids won't be able to get the transportation to get to the gym, and so instead of having the camps in the gym, we want to take them to the community. And we talk about using basketball as a vehicle to build this country by touching each community one at a time, and that's what the Federation focuses on.
Now, while the Summer of Thunder is winding down, the BBF announcing plans yesterday for the 2nd annual Caribbean Tip-Off Classic. 2 All-Star Bahamian teams will be joined by 5 U.S. teams, also 3 teams from Canada, 1 from Finland, and another from Latin America. It's all set for the beginning of November.
There would be
matchups that would be conducive to getting guys exposure and seen by D1 programs. So when we put this event together, we thought of teams, how can we bring in coaches, how can we bring in some top coaches, and we want a combination of not just high D1 but low and mid D1 teams to come down and recruit some of the Bahamian guys, and if they choose to go play in the States or play for prep school in Canada and then go on to play college ball, or if they're ready to play college ball now, we're going to do that.
From the WNBA, John Quell Jones and the Connecticut Sun looking to snap a 2-game losing streak last night as they finished off a 4-game road trip in Phoenix against the Mercury. Sun led this one from wire to wire and held off a late surge to pick up the win 78-71. John Quell 4 of 9 from the field, posting her league-leading 13th double-double of the season. She finished up with 12 points and 14 boards in 32 minutes. The Sun returning to Connecticut for a 3-game homestand beginning on Friday against the Seattle Storm. The Sun remains second in the standings at 17-8, 1 game behind the Washington Mystics and 2.5 games ahead of the Chicago Sky as they look to secure one of 2 byes in the first round of the playoffs. And we can tell you that there's only 9 games left in the regular season. And that will do it for sports. We'll be back after the break.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas, 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
In our final look at weather, the tropics remain quiet this morning once again, and that will continue for the next 3 to 5 days. And we still have that persistent troughing across the northwest and central Bahamas. It's backing up over the northwest Bahamas, and that means unstable conditions for most of the day with pockets of showers and thunderstorms. Some of these will be heavy at times, so do exercise caution on the outdoors. Our forecast for today calls for interval of clouds and sunshine, thunderstorms and showers in the area most of the morning and afternoon hours. 91 degrees will be a high temperature, and tonight we're looking at partly cloudy conditions. Things improving a little bit, but we'll still have 1 or 2 showers and thunderstorms lurking around. 79 degrees for your low temperature, and extended weather forecast tomorrow looks a lot better heading into the weekend. Sunshine in abundance, and that will hold right into the early part of next week. Temperatures in the 90s, so once again we advise you to stay hydrated. Jimmy?
Well, thanks, Basil. That's a wrap for us. Make sure to join us tomorrow at 7 a.m. for more Morning Edition. For the entire Morning Edition team, I'm Jimmy Swain. Make it a great day.
Number 1 and I drove it home. When I gave her number 1, I drove it home. When I gave her number 1 and she said the fun has just begun. Put your lips close to mine and drive it home. So I gave her number 2 and I drove it home. When I gave her number 2, I drove it home. When I gave her number